The Stone Age ended when ancient humans figured out how to get ore, smelt it, and use the metal they got out of the ore to make tools and weapons. They found some very intricately decorated bowls in some of the most ancient mines. They suspect that it was these ancient humans giving gifts to the gods of the earth in exchange for taking the ore from the earth. Humans have been humans for 50,000 to 100,000 years, which means we've had our current abilities of language and thinking for 50 to 100,000 years, which means for at least 40,000 years before they invented agriculture, we've thought about and talked about the same stuff that we think about and talk about now, minus all the technology. One thing they probably did to pass the time was to tell stories based on the stars they saw in the skies at night. They probably noticed how the stars would slowly move across the sky at night and used that idea to make up the concept that the stars represented a completely different world than the one they experienced on Earth. The various star configurations became people. Those people became archetypes. And then those archetypes kind of joined together to create the first mythological stories. Linguists tell us that when we use intangible nouns, we need to use them as if they were actual objects. We can tell the type of noun we think they are by the preposition we use with them. For example, if you say you are in a meeting, the preposition in indicates we think of the meeting as if it is some kind of a container, since we are also in a container. You can put things in a container. But the meeting, of course, doesn't exist. The chairs exist, the table exists, the people exist, but the meeting as a noun is a temporary shared hallucination. They say that when we think about tools, we think about them as companions. I cut the bread with a knife. I went to the mall with my friend. And we tend to anthropomorphize things like cars. For example, if you've had a car for a long time and you've had a lot of good times in that car, you'll feel sad when you get rid of the car, almost like you're losing an old friend. The same thing happens when you've lived in a house for a long time and you've had a lot of good experiences in that house. You'll feel like the house is like an old friend that you won't see again. And when you think of your old car and your old house, you'll get the same feelings of nostalgia as you would for an old friend. Napoleon Hill famously created his own imaginary mastermind group. Once a week he would meet with Lincoln, Washington, and Edison. They would meet and talk for an entire hour, him and these three imaginary people. You can do the same thing for any purpose you want. Think of a skill or a situation in which you'd like to have help from other people, and then create your own mastermind group of whomever you want. You'll have to practice talking to them to build up their existence in your mind. But they will not only give you actual usable advice when you need it, but they'll also give you verifiable social proof. For example, if you create a group of angelic helpers and practice building up their existence in your mind, when you go out in public and imagine that they are with you, your body language will actually exhibit real signs of social proof. And other people will pick up on that signs of social proof subconsciously, and they will become more attracted to you because of that social proof. And your own custom-made group of imaginary guardian angels will start to give you actual advice, even being able to read the minds of others and telling you what to tell them based on the situations and based on what they are thinking about in those situations. It's also interesting how we use prepositions with any kind of traveling vehicle. Since our ancient brains probably think of traveling as riding on some kind of animal, we still use the word on when talking about various types of transportation. I'm on the bus, I'm on the plane, I'm on the train, I'm on the way. The only outlier is in your car, because our own car, is more like a personal space than a vehicle, because you can sleep in your car, you can read a book in your car, you can live in your car. A powerful way that anthropomorphized archetypes helped ancient humans was in the form of imaginary role models. For example, if you were a young hunter and you were out by yourself and saw a big woolly mammoth, you could imagine that you had the gods of the sky with you helping you to kill that woolly mammoth. This kind of suggests that the ability to imagine people that aren't there and actually treat them as real friends is a kind of an instinct that you can leverage today to create your own custom-made gods and goddesses to help you out whenever you need it. to give you social proof and confidence when you need it, so you can become more socially powerful and charismatic.